One of you lovely chaps in my Discord server asked me, how do you overcome loneliness? Which is a really good question. And to be honest, the reason I chose to talk about it is because I've been feeling quite lonely over the past few days now. And I know a lot of people who are on a similar path of development and cutting out bad things from their lives are feeling very similar to me. Because with cutting out a lot of bad habits from your life, you tend to spend less time with people who are engaging in the habits. So for example, when I used to play video games, I'd spend nearly my entire day around people and talking. Even though it was incredibly shallow, it was fulfilling my social need. So a mindset and something you need to understand if you want to be successful on this path is the fact that it sometimes is a very lonely path to the top. If you want to break free from the 99% of the population and become a 1% man, then a lot of sacrifices need to be made, and one of those is hanging around as much with people of the 99%. Reason being is average of 5 rule. It's one of the truest rules I've ever heard of. I've seen it come into play multiple times. If I spend a lot of my time around people who are playing video games and smoking weed and all of that jazz, I am almost certainly becoming more like them in many ways. So you don't want to be spending time with negative people who have bad habits. However, because that's 99% of the population, there aren't actually many people that you can relate to who are on this same sort of journey you're on. While you're going to the gym, they're watching Game of Thrones at home. You know what I mean? While you're thinking about what your life should look like in the next 5 years, they're thinking about what they're going to have for dinner tonight. So one thing you need to understand is that this path is sometimes a very lonely path. It is a path of solitude. You aren't going to find many people relatable, and you should absolutely limit your time spent with people who are not relatable to you in this sense. They're engaging in negative habits. So that's number one. Don't expect to have the same levels of social validation and social life than your, 99%er, because you're not going out to the clubs, you're not spending a load of time with a bunch of people who are doing bad habits. But understand this, the lifestyle that entails is one of fleeting joy. They may feel fulfilled, but it is a fulfillment which they will have to constantly chase by doing more and more and more of the negative habits. That is not a feedback loop which you want to be in, trust me. The feedback loop will have your trajectory going from this to this. So firstly, be grateful that you have separated yourself from these people. I'm not saying to just, be Sigma grindset and sorry guys, I can't talk to you anymore because you play video games. What I'm saying is just take a step back. Spend less time with them. I'm not saying you should hate them or anything like that. Just spend less time with them. It's like the most cringest thing you could possibly do is something like that. Sorry guys, I can't hang about with you because I'm too cool now. It's fucking cringe, and you're gonna get laughed at, you're gonna get the, piss taken out of you, and to be honest, you deserve it. Let people make their own decisions. Lead by example, and if they like your example, if they like the results that they're seeing from your work, they will follow suit. But people are on their own journey, so don't try and fuck with them. Cringe, man. How do you overcome this sort of void in your heart and soul which is no longer filled by a popping social life? Me personally, I used to be incredibly introverted, but because now I have tackled my social anxiety, I actually really enjoy being around people. It revitalizes my energy, it revitalizes my battery, it makes me feel like a valuable man. And I've been doing a lot of social stuff over the last, few weeks or months or so. Obviously, I was in Thailand, which was an incredibly social experience. I was living with my best friend for 2 months. And then I got back from Thailand, I went to a wedding, and that was really fun. I was away for 3 days with my friends, which was awesome. But now I'm in this spot where I don't really have anything sort of booked in. I do have something booked in, but it's in, a few months. My social life is now stale. I don't have any plans. I have options available to me. I got invited to a house party earlier, but I said no because it would be a massive massive detriment to the progress which I've been making. Going to that house party would open up, you know, 3 doors for me, which are not good doors. Number one, the need for these party environments. If I go to one, then it's more likely that I'll crave more, right? Number two is it might open up the door for drugs again. So I had to go down a very bad path of drugs. There was a third reason. I can't remember what the third reason was. It doesn't matter anyway. It's not a good idea for me to do, right? But I have the options available. I can go out to a club Saturday if I'd like, and that would fill this, you know, hole in my soul. I would get my social validation, social fix. But it doesn't change anything, does it? Because, you know, a week later or so, it will be back, and then I'll feel the need to go out again to a club or something like that. That's how it happens, right? That's how you end up in a vicious feedback loop of just constantly chasing this fleeting feeling of social validation. Now, ideally, if you want to overcome loneliness, you want to build a circle of very wholesome friends, wholesome brothers who don't engage in, you know, the negative activities which I've already talked about here. They're on their purpose, and when you do meet, it's like an event. Everyone's really, you know, looking forward to it. You're gonna do some wholesome stuff. You're gonna be like, you know, going out camping or something like that, you know, doing wholesome things together. That is the ideal scenario. For me personally, I have friends who are like really cool people, but there's only like 2 of them which I relate to on this level where they aren't doing bad habits, they're on their purpose, and I could possibly go and do, like, you know, wholesome things with them. The problem is, though, one of them's in Germany and the other one's Hamza, and Hamza's a 2-hour train ride away, and, you know, he's a busy man. We also just spent 2 months together in Thailand, and to be honest, I think we, by the end of it, got quite sick of each other. So, to be honest, a little bit of time physically away from each other, I don't think that would hurt, you know what I mean? So you see my problem that I have. I have this feeling of FOMO that I'm missing out, and I want to be more social, but I understand also that if I was to do that, it would be detrimental to my growth. It would be a fleeting feeling. I'm no expert, and this is a problem which I'm going through currently, and it does get me down. It gets me down sometimes. But the way I see it, the way to overcome this loneliness, this feeling, is to, 1, cultivate strong friends. You do that by leading by example and being an absolute G, and you'll find that when people start to see the results of your labor, that is when their ears will prick up and they'll be like, huh, I should listen to this guy a bit more. Maybe I should start doing some of the things that he's doing because his life is significantly improving. A good example of this, you guys probably have like a group of friends, right? And they're all bombs, maybe, I don't know. They're all doing like bad habits and shit like that. Most of them, 90% of the group, they're fine to talk to, but you don't relate to them all that much. You're not even that close. You're just sort of in the group for, you know, the 1 or 2 friends which you actually quite like. The best thing you can do for those 1 or 2 friends which you like who are sort of locked in this vicious feedback loop is to separate yourself from them and to lead by example and do more of the right things. And you'll find that if they are real ones, if they're top Gs and they like what you're doing, they like you, and they want to join you on your journey, then they will actually come to you. They will gravitate towards you once again. That is when you can actually form a brother rather than just a friend, a brother. To me personally, the only way to actually overcome this feeling is by just developing more brothers. And a quick side note as well, like I've spoke to, obviously Hamza's my best friend. One of the main reasons that he's started his channel is because he was lonely. He wants more strong men to actually like relate to. It is a problem for people who are on our trajectory to feel lonely. I feel like it's something that you have to accept for quite some time until you start to see the results that you want. What you can do though is you can acknowledge the fact that it is a feeling that will pass through you. You're not going to feel like it forever. Right now I'm in like, you know, a 2-day spell where I feel kind of like, you know, fucking A, I wish I was doing more social stuff. But I know for a fact that in the next few days it will pass and I will be back to exactly how I was. This is like a test from God. You know, God is testing your crippin'. Is he really about it, or does he want to just go get fucking, you know, Ketty at the clubs again? You know what I mean? So just ride the wave. Obviously, no one said this shit was going to be easy. No one said that becoming a top 1% man was going to be a fun journey, because it's not sometimes. It's difficult. You've got to face all sorts of discomfort, and this is just another part of the discomfort which you have to face. If you're doing less of the bad things, you're going to be spending less time with people because people do bad things. It's a part of the journey. Understand that it is a passing feeling. As you continue to grow, you will cultivate stronger groups of friends. If If you're still hanging around people who are doing bad things, bad habits, you are severely crippling yourself. It's like you are breaking your ankles. You know the gunshot at the start of the race? It's like, instead of shooting, you decide to shoot your own fucking ankles and then you try to run. Literally, like, one of the first steps is to separate yourself somewhat from that environment. It's not supposed to be easy, you know? It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be comfortable. You decide. How about it are you? How much do you want this? I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was insightful, inspiring. Hopefully, if you continue to improve and, you know, surround yourself with good people, you will have this feeling of loneliness fulfilled, and it's not something that you'll have to continually chase and, you know, sacrifice your own journey for. That's the ideal scenario. If you're not already, join the Discord. It's linked in the description. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, guys.